Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra announcement trailer. Now this is previously known as Project Multi, that was actually revealed last year, and there was already a beta test, but we haven't had a chance to know what the game title is at that point, as well as more details. So let's just jump into this trailer we have, and before we do, remember to like, comment and subscribe if you want to. It would be much appreciated, and let's just check it out, shall we? Here we go. The original Peggy sound. Lovely. Dragon Ball new game. Got Frieza, Zarbon and a bunch of other characters. Tabura, Bojack's confirmed. Dodoria, Super Saiyan Goku, Majin Buu, Krillin, 18 Super, another Bojack scene, Cooler, Zamasu, Squad Up, Beatdown, okay. And the official name, Gekishin Squadra. Quite weird to pronounce that word, because I'm not fluent in any Japanese type of, like the language and stuff, but it's weird to pronounce it because I want to say Gekishin Squadra, but it's Gekishin. Always forget the I. Okay, so here we have something interesting. Okay, so we already knew a Steam version was going to exist and the Play Store version, probably the iOS one as well. But now we have consoles. PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 as well as Nintendo Switch. If I can see it's on Nintendo Switch, it's probably going to be on Nintendo Switch 2 as well. And I'm not sure about Xbox at this point. So now that this trailer is out of the way, let's go to the Twitter page. And here's the Zamasu trailer, like an extra explanation of how it works.
Death to all mortals, that is my justice. I overflow with joy,
Okay.
feasting on my own perfection.
Seems like he has some kind of health ability, which would be in check with his abilities in the show, because he regains health in the show a lot. Because he's immortality.
Sinners. My justice will be your end. I will save creation from the
So he's like a tank or something. Health slash tank. Okay, yeah, tank. And since this is like a what do you call it? A MOBA or MOBA slash type of role-playing thing. They got abilities like tank and the rest. So we have body regeneration, attack enemy NPCs while bosses with your skills, excluding super attacks. You charge your regeneration gauge. The regeneration gauge will deplete as it heals your base HP. Because there's a regeneration gauge that heals. If the gauge is at a certain amount when you are knocked out, you will revive. Okay, so if it's a lot, you revive, and if it's like if there's an attack on you and it's depleted, it insta revive. Okay, so Heavenly Arrow fires an energy blast in succession. Enemy arrows can get hit while being afflicted with movement speed down. You can move and change the direction while firing. So it's like it inflicts slow motion. Divine Rush, punch forward, release attack, enemy arrows hit, attack will be forcibly moved. So if you play with allies and you want to get the enemy at a certain spot so they can't retreat easily, that's the move you want to use. This is real technical. Sweep the area around with horizontal slash continuous damage will be applied to enemies hit by the attack, and energy slash will be unleashed along with the sweep. Can move while using the skill. Okay. Okay, Zero Mortal Project, drop an energy blast down on yourself, gain immune to all. So this is like the type of a short period of invincibility or like a super armor type of thing. And a movement speed down areas created at the point where energy blast impacts with the effect increasing near the center. So the closer you are to the enemy is to you, the slower he will be moving. Is that what they're saying? I can't say this game is quite technical, and it's gonna be fun that way. Technicalities and learning a character is gonna be fun. Ooh, we got Baby. Introducing Hero's plan for Gekishin Squadra, presenting Baby, young body. This is like the first time I've seen this version of Baby being playable. And this is interesting because we got the GT character confirmed in this game, which is also very unique because this is the first GT character I think I've seen. So let's check this out, shall we? There we go. And he's gonna be quite unique because he can wait a second, he swapped into his ally, I think. Let's just check here. Yes. There's 18, he swaps into 18 and gets damaged but recovers health. So swapping into an ally recovers the health of the ally. And let me just see his health. Okay, so as you can see in here, his health is also low. So when he swaps in, he gets damaged, but then his ally recovers health. But when does his ally recover health? Let's just see here. Because I believe the health is being reduced. Okay. Then it recovers. And when done for that time period when he swapped bodies, he recovered health as well. So that's like a HP recovery technique, basically, within your allies. This is quite technical and interesting because it fits the character pretty well as well. Okay, you can also swap bodies with enemies. This is gonna make the game more fun as well. I'm not sure how long you can use that ability for, but to swap with your enemies, but it should be interesting. Okay, so he's also a tank. Use possession on both enemy and ally heroes. Stubbornly survived in the front lines using possession. So he's gonna be good to play as if you're not ganged up against. Because if you play and swap with the enemy, I presume there's gonna be like a cooldown period for the ability. So you can always survive at least one time and get away with it. But if you're ganged up and there's a lot of enemies, and you won't be able to possess enemies or allies for a period, so then you'll lose. So this is a character you can use a lot to do the first attacks. The first time we see a baby possession on Goku. Which is interesting. This is still the same character model. There's probably almost nothing different from this model, but it's still interesting to see this actually being implemented in this way. And once the possession is done, the character is presumably dead. So that's also interesting. So this is like a one-hit finish, but I don't know what's the requirements for the possession in the first place. Because, for instance, if your enemy's health is maxed out and you use possession, does that mean they only lose health, or does that mean you can't do the ability, or does that mean he's instantly dead? Because then it's an insta-kill move as well. So So this is going to be quite an interesting character. So Finger Blitz Barrage, unleash an attack over an area in a targeted direction. Enemy's hit will be forcibly moved. So this is another skill to move the enemy in a position where you can actually do more damage if you can't finish him off. Unleash continuous area over area attacks center around yourself, gain strike defense up, and apply movement speed down to enemies by the attack. Each time the attack hits the enemy, cooldown on possession allies will decrease. Can move. Okay, so cooldown on possession of allies will decrease. So if you use this attack, it slows down the movement speed of enemies hit by the attack momentarily, presumably, and you gain a strike defense up, so gain a buff and a slowdown, as well as a cooldown decrease on possession of allies. So it's a 3-step program, or 3 beds of one stone technique. Okay, and you can still move with the technique as well. Possession allies back up fire. Possessing target ally, apply steal life to the possessed ally here. So you steal their life, basically absorbing their HP, and your HP will replenish over time, and you can use backup fire to attack enemies. The HP of the possessed ally will recover when backup fire hits an enemy. So you need to actually attack an enemy to recover their health, otherwise your allies are going to be pretty mad. You just used all their health. So this is gonna be a real character people are gonna either love a lot or hate a lot, especially if you are in a big matchup and your allies, if you don't know how to play this character and you're gonna mess up a lot, your allies will be mad. Okay, so Revenge Blast, unleash a shockwave centered around yourself. You will receive additional HP depending on the number of enemy heroes hit by the attack. So using this attack will garner you HP. This is a pretty cool attack. If the attack hits an enemy hero, the damage of the skill will increase the next time it's used. So damage will be stacked as well, so that's another thing. Okay. Look at that alpha. Is it only for a certain period of time you have additional HP? It's not recovery, but additional. So if you're low health, you do the attack, you're gonna get a bunch of extra HP, but it's only going to be for a period of time, or if the enemies attack. I'm not certain. We'll need to test this out when the game's out. So that's it for Baby. Quite interesting. And now here we have the official Discord server. You can go onto the Twitter page at db_squadra and you can get the links. Introducing here as planned. Freeze our first form. So they're explicitly saying first form. So I'm hoping we got transformations for him as well. Move around the battlefield with your subordinates Zarbon and Doria. Command both of them and strategically dominate the map. So basically it's 3 characters in one. Is that what you're telling me? Okay.
Peggy 12.
My power level is 530,000. But to keep things fair,
Yeah,
I'll refrain from
it's
using
literally-
all my power.
It's literally both of them. So it's like a minion being used. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Zarbon, Dodoria, it's time.
Technical. Move around the battlefield with your subordinates. Command both of them strategically to dominate the map. Increase movement speeds during high-speed flight and prevents flight from being interrupted by an attack. Effect will expire after being hit by an attack, but this effect can be used again after a certain amount of time. Good escape technique. Show them Zarbon. Position Zarbon will attack enemies in an area of energy blast, but prioritizing targets in the middle of a rush attack. When his energy blast hits an enemy hero, it applies strike defense down. Use the strike skill again to make Zarbon leave his position. Okay. Dodoria will attack enemies in the area of lunge attacks, prioritizing targets in the middle of a rush attack. When his lunge attack hits the enemy hero, they are forcibly moved. Use the skill again to make Dodoria leave his position. So it's like a swap in, swap out type of thing. That actually fits with the scenario of the Frieza pod. Because he didn't actually do anything, he only commanded enemies at that point. It's only when he faced Vegeta as well as Krillin and Gohan when he actually stepped out of it, and I think Nail probably too. I'm not sure. Because I remember him facing Nail as well. Imperial Decree grants your ally heroes movement speed up and create an area that raises Zarbon and Doria's attack speed. If an ally hero, Zarbon or Dodoria are nearby, when the skill is activated, the effects will last longer. Supernova, Energy Blast, charging the attack increases the size of the Energy Blast, improving range. So you can actually charge up attacks as well, that's pretty cool. All enemies in the super attack area will be afflicted with all attack down, so damage down basically for the enemies. Is that what I'm reading right? So you won't be able to do a lot of damage. Okay. Yeah, Frieza is also pretty technical and pretty cool in that sense. And here's Piccolo. Let's check him out. I haven't played the beta the last time because it wasn't available in my area, so unfortunately I haven't had that time to experience this game at all.
Peggy 12.
Okay, so now it's Piccolo's turn.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Bring it on! I'm tired of you and your loud mouth. Hope you're ready.
Special beam cannon. Energy barrage with a clash or rush attack. Horizon grenade and light grenade.
The best fighters in the cosmos. Doesn't get better than this.
Damage. Your rush attacks skill will be tremendous. Will have tremendous range. The power of special beam cannon increases as long as you charge the attack. So this is basically the character you're gonna have behind playing like a range. It's basically a range character, like they say, a tremendous range. Okay. The firepower of Energy Blast. At skill level 2, the explosion will occur at the point of impact. Damage and attack over area of explosion will increase the further away a target is. So it's bigger than further away, okay. Okay, is that the real name for this? I'm not certain because I'm only used to the English version or the dub version of the skills and stuff. So fire energy blast upwards that will drop down into approaching enemies. If the skill is used again, the skill effect expires. It will fall down on the ground instead. It will explode after falling, applying movement speed down. So if you do it twice, it won't be a movement speed down. Then a little bit technical, but not as much. So stretch your arms and move instantly to enemies, ally heroes, or walls that you touch. After moving, your next rush attack will release a powerful energy blast and damage will increase. Okay. The range guy. Can a special beam cannon, energy beam that penetrates enemies and walls. Holding down the attack button will expand multiple stocks. The more stocks you use, the higher the damage and range. Okay, so they can probably show the stock version now. There we go. Charge up. And bam. Okay. And that's it for Piccolo. I presume, okay, here's Super Saiyan Goku. I think that's the last one. Wait a second. Presenting Super Saiyan Goku. Power up your skills with Kaioken. Dominate battles with the ultimate power. Kaioken and Super Saiyan. It's like the first time they added it into a game, I think. I'm not sure how it's gonna look, but I remember Pycon's battle with Goku in the Otherworld tournament, and if we're gonna get that type of Kaioken, it's gonna be the first time I've seen it in game ever before.
Forces of good will always win.
Seems like he's only using base Kaioken at this point. This is like a swap up type of thing instead of Super Saiyan Kaioken. Okay, there's Super Saiyan, Kamehameha. A lot of damage dealt. Okay, so concept, power up your skills of Kaioken, dominate the battles with ultimate power. So, violent rage. If an ally hero is near you and KO'd by an enemy, that attack enemy becomes target of anger. This allows you to find the target and increase your damage against them. So it's basically a type of lock-on increased damage. Kamehameha. When the Kaioken is active, the duration and size of this attack will increase, and movement speed down will be applied to enemies hit. And there's the Kaioken, but it seems like it's switching into base form Kaioken times 10 or something, instead of being Super Saiyan stage with Kaioken. So it's not what I thought it was with like the matchup with Pycon, but it's still pretty cool. Okay, meet your hammer, leap into the midst of your enemies and smash your fist down. When Kaioken is active, it generates a shockwave, will hit your enemies, will appear and hit enemies hit by it will be staggered. Okay. So it's basically a stun attack, or staggering attack. And the Kaioken does fit well. It's still weird to like depower from Super Saiyan to Kaioken. Unless it's a technique that preserves energy or something, it doesn't make real sense. Unless you keep like the Super Saiyan form with the Kaioken, meaning a buff up attack. So that's pretty weird, but it's okay. Kaioken grants your strike attack up, all defense up, and movement speed up. Activating this on top of other skills will power them up. Wait a second, was that? No, it's still the base form. And Genki Dama, the Spirit Bomb. Unleash an orb of amass spirit energy, damage increased based on the number of remaining ally heroes. Oh, so that's real technical and pretty cool. So it's basically share your energy time, and when there's less allies, less energy, less damage. So when Kaioken is active, the explosion will be triggered, dealing even more damage. Okay. They're probably going to show 2 of them, or not. And transform at level 7, and the effective violent rage will increase. So that's it for Goku. I think that's it for all of this recent posts on Twitter, or X, what it's called now. There is a website which I've opened right here, and like you all know, there's going to be a network test or a beta test probably on Steam. I'm not sure if it's going to be on smartphones, but I do presume it's definitely going to be on Steam. And that's about it for that. And then there's this is basically what it is, 4v4 team battle. Feel free to press through the battlefield yourself or engage in team tactics with your allies. Control heroes as they level up through the match and use them to blow away all enemy players and even the boss characters. Okay, here's a place to do with Margin Boost attack, the Genki Dama or Sprint Bomb. There's the Frieza and stuff. Claim the Dragon Ball and seize victory. Okay, so that's basically the thing you need, the objective. And here's something interesting. We got specs. So platforms is definitely going to be on consoles this time as well. So previously it wasn't known that it was going to be on consoles, but now it is. Genre Super Team Battle. It's definitely okay. So it is definitely team battle, but it's more like a MOBA in the sense that it looks to me. The number of players up to 8 players online, 4v4. Release date 2025. So not certain when, but it should be, in my opinion, before like November or something. November, December. Okay, so we got system specifications, comparison chart, Nintendo Switch. So this is the base form, version of the Switch. It's not like the Switch 2. I presume they're gonna actually add it for Switch 2 as well. So I don't think they're not going to do that, but it's gonna be both for the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. So we got 1080p and 720p on handheld mode. 30 FPS, so that's pretty low, but it's I mean, it's a Nintendo Switch. It's pretty weak hardware. Requires paid subscription for online features. Not required. Okay, so it's free or online features. Local multiplayer, number of offline players supported. Local multiplayer, number of offline players supported. Okay, so it's like LAN or like a split screen or something. I don't think that's gonna work, so that's why it's saying not supported. But why actually add this in? I think they wanted to make it clear that they are not going to do a local multiplayer. Available languages, Japanese, English, audio, interface language, a bunch of other as well. And it's gonna be 5 GB storage, cross-platform play. That's a big thing. So we're gonna have cross-platform compatibility. First time I've seen this in a Dragon Ball game. I think Breakers maybe also have cross-play, but I'm not certain. But this is the first game I'm going to play which has cross-play across platforms, so that's going to be a very good thing for multiplayer. Okay, now PlayStation 4, 1080p, and a Pro version is going to run at 4K, so this is definitely not a demanding game, and it's going to run at 60 FPS. Now as for PlayStation 5, 1440p and 4K, and can be switched from the options menu. So it's not the updated version of the PlayStation 5, it's the base PlayStation 5. Performance mode 120 FPS, quality mode 60 FPS. That's pretty cool. Let's just move this chart. Steam, so we can play 8K on Steam, which is high resolution. So the game maxes out at 8K basically. Frame rate during optional conditions 60 FPS, highest possible frame rate 200 to 40 FPS. So unlocked FPS is also a thing, depending on your system, naturally. On everything is cross-platform, so that's pretty cool. So you're gonna have cross-platform play on all these platforms as well. Okay, iOS, so you can have it on your smartphone and then on your PC and then on your console, whatever. Okay, so iOS resolution depending on device, 30 FPS, 60 FPS. Can switch between 30 and 60 in the options menu. So if your device can't handle 60 FPS, it's going to be probably jump to 30, or either it's going to be like a 60, between 60 and 30, like 40 FPS or something, if it's like unlocked type of frame rate. Okay, and Android the same thing. Devices without thermal API will be limited to 30 FPS. So what I mean here is overheat or like power saving mode will be limited to 30 FPS. And I don't think they state which performance requirements there are. Let's just go down. Okay, here it is. So PC specs requires Windows 10 or 11. Everybody these days at least use either Windows 10 or 11. Not a lot of people still use 8 or 7, but because it's literally, you can't do anything anymore on it, because a lot of stuff gets unsupported. So that's that. As for CPU, Ryzen 3 2200G or i5 6600. And what I want to know is, does this game require AVX2? I don't think it does, but if it does, you're not going to be playing on weaker hardware. But if it doesn't require it, you could probably get away with like a second gen Intel i7 or like a third or fourth gen i5, maybe also would handle at least 30 FPS. CPU wise, there's not a lot big difference between an i5 6600 and an i7 2600, 2600K or i7 3770. I'm not sure about first gen though, because that's really cutting it to low performance requirements. Memory 8GB of RAM, and graphics card we have a GTX 960, which at this point is 11 years old if I'm right, like 2014ish to 2025. Yeah, it's about 11 years. The 11-year-old graphics card that is like a 60 class card, or an AMD Radeon R9 280X or Intel Arc A310. Intel card is the newest, but it's still quite not, it's not a really strong card in any ways. But they also support an AMD R9, which probably already lost driver support, so that's pretty cool of them to still support older hardware. As for recommended, GTX 970, so there's not a real graphical upstep between the two performance requirements when it comes to graphics cards. But it does require DirectX 12. So GTX 970 is really not a big step up from the 960, but it does seem that the game requires at least 4GB of VRAM. I'm not sure if this is the 2GB version of the 960, but I presume it's like the 4GB version. As well as here, because these the R9 cards had a 4 and 8GB version as well. I'm not sure how much VRAM the A380 or the A310 has, but I don't think there's a requirement on jump up of performance to get the recommended requirements. And as you can see, AMD Ryzen 3300 or i7 7700K, that's like the 4-core 8-threaded version, and this is the 4-core 4-threaded version. Still 8GB of RAM. So that's it for PC. Now let's go to mobile. iOS, iPhone 11 or later, OS requirement 17 or later, and 3 gigs of memory or RAM basically. Recommended iPhone 13 or later, so any iPhone later than the 13th version would be acceptable. For Android, we got a Snapdragon 855 or higher. And Android version 10 or later, so Android version 9 or 7 may be in spec with these requirements, but the OS will be software limited and API limited. And another thing is, I'm not sure if Mali GPUs would be supported, because there's a lot of smartphones that's cheaper that has a Mali GPU in it, and specifically stating Snapdragon 855 or higher does give you a base of certain type of GPU requirements in the smartphone. And for memory, 4 gigs or more. Most devices these days at least has 4 GB. I'm not certain on CPU requirements, but it should be that 4 cores should do it. So for recommended, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So there's a Snapdragon 855 and 8 Gen 2 or higher. So that's the spec requirements. Interesting. So this game is gonna be free if I'm correct. Let's just jump into the Steam page. Coming soon. And it's gonna be online PvP, online co-op, family sharing game. Okay. And it's gonna be free to play, so it's a free game as well. Now here's the issue that I might have with the game is that it will be like a gacha type of game. It's free to play, you get into the game, but then there's a lot of rolling for things and stuff, which I really don't want. I want if this game is going to be a live service supported game, it needs to go to Xenoverse route with paying for character DLC and stuff. I don't want to like buy 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 in-game currency and then randomly spend it hoping to get the character I can't get. That's not what I want to do, but that's why I say I really don't want that. But even then, the game is at least free, so you can actually get into the game for free. Now, I hope to see a lot more characters being added into this game as well, and I'm gonna definitely try it out if it's available in my region online. Because Xenoverse 2 has issues with online in my region. I can still play it somewhat, but it depends. Like 9 out of 10 times I can't play. The real rare times that I can play is when somebody locally plays as well. So that's it. In Sparking Zero I can't get to work on anything. It just literally never allows me to play online. Because of my region yet again. Because there's not a lot of players in my region. Or there's something really, really bad and wrong with my internet. But if that's the case, why would other games still work? Like League of Legends or, I don't know, GTA Online, Call of Duty. All those games still work pretty fine online. So that's the problem I have with online and Dragon Ball games. So I'm really hoping this game actually has at least decent enough netcode and service, let's for instance say, to be able to play online without real issues. That's the only real thing that's gonna make or break this game for me. And yeah, I hope there's at least some type of offline bot play type of thing, like you have bots or something, in case there isn't a lot of online players at the time or whatever, because otherwise the game can, if the game loses its player base, you can't play the game. So that's really a make or break for me. But thank you for watching this video, and let me know if you're going to play the Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.